not going to be out and about a whole lot this weekend. So, yeah. Just wanted to drop in and say hello. I'm going to hang out in the parking lot for a little bit, say what's up to the good folks in the chat, and then I'm going to get on the road because people like to give me a hard time for driving and looking at the screen. So I'm not going to be talking to anybody in the chat. So I'll get started saying what's up to everybody. Alex, what's up? My man Craig, Origin 1, what's good? Sly Steve, what's happening? Joey, what's good? Joey, you've been working hard, man. I see you. I'm being careful. I'm not even driving right now. I'm just sitting in the parking lot right now, so don't worry. Empress Lou, what up? Holly, how you doing? Ron, what up? Christina Lee, what's going on? Chase Money, yeah, let's ride. So yeah, that's all it is. Just wanted to hop in and say what's up. Billy Sanchez, what's going on? Chris Reed, I'll be doing my chatting with you. No, I just got finished talking to a friend of mine over here in Lakewood for a little while. Yeah, she called me in coming out this parking lot, and we just sat there and talked for a while. So I got in the mood to want to talk flat earth because she recently crossed over and she's a flat earther now, but we're going to be talking a little bit later. So yeah, I did a quick chat on my Facebook this morning on just the whole idea of it's always a flat earth discussion, but it's not just a flat earth discussion. I thought it was more of a general discussion. What I was talking about then, it applies to flat earth, of course, but it applies to so many other things. Wait, what? Brian Cox did a flat earth attack? Is that right? Who was that? Kirk? I didn't hear anything about an attack from Brian Cox, actually. All right, HB Picker, welcome to the show. All right, okay, so I'll go ahead and get started driving and stop looking at the screen because that's dangerous, and I'm going to be a safe driver this time. So I may look back if I hit a stop light or something, and it is what it is. All right, well, so what I was discussing this morning was just the idea of how's the audio, by the way? Can somebody tell me how the audio is? Should I connect this thing? Because I don't know, it may pick up a little bit better than my phone from the dash. Go ahead and pop this on so I can be direct to the phone. It's like a little microphone for me. Okay, I believe I'm connected now. So, all right, just gonna take a ride. So, what I was saying this morning, bright and early, was just questioning how people know what they know. Because and I talk about this a lot. How we've all been programmed to believe things that otherwise don't make any sense. When we get into these discussions with people online or face to face, even, where they'll start citing these things. Yeah, the sun's 93 million miles away. Well, you don't understand physics because the way that this works is that you can go out this far and look back, and you just don't understand refraction of light. It works differently out in space. All these odd things that people will say in defending the globe model. They talk about these things as if they know it. And one thing that I like to ask people to kind of back them up on their heels is ask them, how do you know that? Alright, so some girls just pulled up next to me, and they were all smiling, looking in the van and stuff like that. Now they just pulled up in front of me. Anyway, y'all know somebody's always eyeballing the van, but what I was saying was, how do you know what you think you know? Nobody ever has a really good answer for that other than people smarter than me said so. hard time letting go of that paradigm, because it's like these people, by the way that this society is built up, by the whole educational system and how that's built up, is that, you know, people work through this government constructed educational system of higher learning, higher indoctrination, and you know, they get their papers to certify what they've learned thus far, and that gives them some degree of intellectual superiority over people who have not attained these pieces of paper and, you know, gone through these various rituals. Sure. Okay, so because those people go through those degrees of higher education, then that qualifies them to speak on things that intellectually they don't understand, or that they just, you know, can't comprehend, because, you know, not everybody can go to the board and write out these long equations, and even beyond that, most people are just going to see all those numbers and symbols and letters on the board, and they're not even going to be able to comprehend what they're talking about. So ultimately, people just shut their brain off and just say, all right, fine, this guy's writing this stuff out, he's saying this, he's speaking so clearly and so articulate with his vernacular and all that, so they must have it figured out. This is why they bring Neil deGrasse Tyson out, because what he's saying, it sounds super smart to people who aren't really listening to the bull crap that's coming out of his mouth. I like how Bro Sanchez and the gang, they tore Neil up, because he did this one video with this guy. He was a comedian, and I think it was D-Nice, the comedian. It was the one on Star Talk where Neil starts off, you know, it's like they start the whole thing off. He's like, so Neil, is Earth flat or round? Neil, his first thing he says is, we have live video of the Earth spinning. The Earth is round. And then they just get up and walk off. Well, first off, they don't have live video of the Earth spinning. So I mean, they just like went through that whole video and just like tore it up piece to piece. And yeah, I don't know, I should start doing some stuff like that. I see somebody saying what's up. I can't say what's up because people are going to be getting mad at me and saying I'm not driving safely, I could hurt someone, and people get real sensitive about me looking at the phone while I'm driving, so I can't do it. I'll glance if I get a chance to you know, slow down for a little bit and then say what's up, but other than that, can't do it. Sorry. But I'm saying, when they wheel somebody out like Neil deGrasse Tyson, yeah, what he's saying, it sounds smart. It does. Like some sort of intellectual dynamo, as it were. But, you know, it's bullcrap. We know that. I'm down now. You can see in the background I'm not really moving. So, I mean, it sounds good, but it's BS. We all know that. And that's why we can see through it. But to the average Joe Glow believer walking up and down the street that hasn't heard about anything, you know, they still take him at his word. They still trust this guy because, you know, he's figured out these concepts that they haven't figured out. And look, one of the things that he said in that whole thing, they asked about tides. Yeah, it seems legit. But this dude asked about tides, and what Neil said was actually tides don't exist. Tides aren't really real. But the thing is that because the Earth is between the sun and the moon pull on the tides and all that. It's actually not the moon that has an effect on the tides, it's the sun. And that there's already a bulge in the water, and as the Earth spins, you know, we just spin into the bulge where, yo, you gotta watch that video. It was nonsense what he was saying. And they put up this little cartoon graphic of the ball Earth, but it was like more bulged out on the sides, and the Earth would like spin, and then you gotta watch that video. It was like, yeah, from Star Talks. It had D-Nice the comedian. It's the one where Neil was like sitting in the chair right next to the guy. It was ridiculous, the stuff he was saying. But yeah, the Earth is spinning into the bulge and all that. But yeah, that's what people do. You know, they'll wheel some guy out that sounds like he knows what he's talking about and he can articulate these things, and have people like with their minds blown because they don't understand that it's BS, because they just been taught that this is real, and he's supposed to be some sort of scientific guru with all this credibility because he's an astrophysicist, theoretical physicist, you know, who's figured out all this stuff. And when he's saying these things, and he prefaced this explanation about tides with the whole bulging water thing and that the earth is spinning into the bulge. He prefaced that by saying, well, what I'm about to say is going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. If you got to tell somebody that what you're going to say is going to blow their mind before you say it, if that person doesn't figure out that what you're about to say is some complete bull crap, I don't know, man. But here, okay, so let's hop off that one. People. The thing is, people claim to, you know, have some sort of intellectual superiority over us as flat earthers, or they take the position as the typical globe believer, because we're not normal anymore. Once we leave the cult, then, you know, we've lost our minds, and you know, look, some guy even told me I need to wake up. Wake up to the globe. I need to wake up and go back to believing in the globe, because the globe is real and flat earth is the psyop. And that I'm like fast asleep, bro. I'm a sleepwalker apparently. That was hilarious. So, but that's what people do. You know, they'll quote somebody that sounds like they're credible and act like that's the gospel truth, because they don't have the I don't know, they're just lazy, just too lazy mentally to actually put the thought into the crap that they've been told and just think about the basics of it. The basics. I'm telling you, if I hear one more person say, well, gravity's pulling everything towards the center of mass. So you think that people are walking upside down on a flipping ball? So, I'm going to get this one thing, but hold on. Okay, so, what I did on Facebook, I pulled out my globe. Now, you got to be standing at the top, basically, the top of the globe, in order to actually have it make any sense. Because if you're in a position on Earth other than at the very top, you know what I'm saying, like, not so much the North Pole, but I don't know, wherever you will be standing at a 90-degree angle on this spinning ball, you gotta be there. And that position even changes because apparently the daggone globe is still spinning, so standing at the top of the globe is all still relative to the spin. You gotta believe some dumb stuff. But what I'm trying to say, and I encourage everybody else to do this, and I put this on Facebook, you might have seen it or maybe not. I put up just a picture of a 90-degree angle. 90-degree angle is like that. So it's like the little squares right here. This is the 90-degree angle, and this is the base. So 90-degree angle. I put up that picture of the 90-degree angle and said, everyone on Earth is walking at a 90-degree angle on a flat plane. Prove me wrong. I'm waiting for somebody to come to me and try to prove to me that they're walking around at a 45-degree angle. Go ahead. Because I want somebody... Look, the idea at this point is to break this stuff down so simply, in such elementary, simplistic terms, that we embarrass people or make people feel embarrassed to even believe that dumb stuff. It's stupid. Think about how stupid that is. You think people are walking upside down on a ball? Everybody experiences this life walking around at a 90-degree angle. There is nobody walking around here at 60 degrees. There's nobody around here walking around at daggone 20, 22, 24 degrees. Nobody. We're all walking upright at a 90-degree angle. Nobody is walking any other way, period. If you're going up a hill, you're still walking at a 90-degree angle, just the same. But I'm just waiting for somebody to try to argue that. Nah, man. I'm at like a 78-degree Well, it's all relative. This is what happens. They just keep saying, no, everything's being pulled towards the center of mass. So, the Earth is so big, it's so big that you can't really tell that you're walking at a different angle. It's just so big you can't see any curvature. I don't know. Maybe you can't see any curvature because there isn't any. Occam's razor, they call it. Something like the simplest explanation is usually the more correct one. Yeah, I think so. Hey, the Earth is spinning. I don't feel it. Maybe it's not spinning then. I don't know. What do you think? Man, this I'm saying you could be like, oh, this spaghetti's delicious, and if it's nasty, you know what I'm saying? It's like people can't tell what a lie is anymore. Come on now. People walking around. Stuff's like relative to our experience, but come on, man. Like right now in Washington, it's like maybe 50, but at the same time, somebody could be in another place in the world, and I'm saying it's warm today because it's 50, but somebody else could be saying, that it's cold because they're like in Jamaica where it's like 85 all year or something. I don't know. But this is all based on our individual experience. So here, what I was gonna say. Okay. I'm at my destination, so I'm just gonna chill out and relax. And this lady is pulled up staring at the van. Hilarious. I know. All right. So what happened? What's that run? Today is 420 and it's Friday. I might see the room spinning by the end of the night. Yeah, no doubt. I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are going to be feeling some spinning, you know what I'm saying, all day, but that don't make it so. This is an individual experience. But here's the thing. Here's what I was thinking. Okay, so we're all in agreement that we've seen the North Star in the same place for all of recorded history. The North Star is situated directly above the North Pole. So, in considering that, North Star above the North Pole, Polaris, we know that. It's been there the whole time. When we see these stars, long exposure film shows all the stars making these perfect circles around Polaris. Okay. But the Earth is supposed to be orbiting around the sun. All right? But we're still seeing the North Star. But the sun's supposed to be dragging the Earth along through the solar system because the Earth is orbiting around the sun. It's spinning and it's orbiting. And the sun's apparently dragging it through space because the sun is not stationary. It's not stagnant. So the sun's dragging the Earth. Earth is orbiting and rotating around the sun. But the Earth is supposed to be at this 23.4 degree angle out in space. Based on what base, I'm not sure, because in order to achieve some sort of angle, there has to be a base first. Remember? Base, 90 degrees, 45 degrees, like 30 degrees. There has to be some sort of, you know what I'm saying? There's got to be. Okay, so the thing crapped out on me. Joe from Cali, what's up, man? Okay. I don't know. It's like you just take some abstract thought, and I'm saying I need some coffee. Okay, so Earth's orbiting around the sun. Earth's supposed to be at this 23.4 degrees out in space. So basically, if the Earth is at this 23.4 degree tilt, the North is always, pointed towards Polaris. Does that mean that the whole solar system is also flying at a 23.4 degree angle, millions of miles per hour towards Polaris? I mean, we should have bumped into Polaris by now because we're supposedly going all these millions of miles per hour every day for like all of recorded history. I mean, this is what's been told for all this time. Do you know what I mean? Because think about it. Think about the stars that we see in the sky, and then consider the whole aspect of, what we're supposed to be doing relative to space. Okay, we're out in space, we're flying through space, but we see these same stars. Polaris has always been situated directly above, so we should be heading towards Polaris every day because, I mean, it's always fixed above the North Star, right? So we should have bumped into it, right? So that's just another thing that I've been thinking about. I mean, has anybody else considered that? Just that whole thing. I mean, yeah, it's all lies. Lies, I tell you. I'm saying, like, are we falling towards Polaris? Like, what the heck's going on out here? I was just thinking about that the other day. I don't know. This is what I'm saying. But people will sit here and say ludicrous speed. So this is what I'm saying. People, you'll ask these questions, or I'll ask these silly questions on your behalf, because I'm here for you. Flat Earthers Unite. So I'll ask these silly questions on our behalf. And Dana Walker, hey. Yeah, I know. So, okay. We'll get to that. All right, so I'm saying I'll ask these silly questions, and then these globe believers will confidently come out and say, you just don't understand orbital mechanics. You are just regurgitating crap that's been fed to you by people that you think are smarter than you. Well, no, here's the thing, Bunny. All right, so here's the thing. It's like they'll say these things like, you just don't understand this, you don't understand that. But and then they'll go off to give what they believe to be scientific facts to substantiate these ridiculous things that they say. And that's what I'm saying. That's why we need to start asking them, how do you know that? Like, how do you know this stuff? How do you know? Oh, well, I mean, you know, they've known about this for years. No. How do you know that? How do you know that? Well, you need to go to school and you need to pick up 8th grade. You need to pick up an 8th grade science book because obviously you missed something. No. Forget about the books. We're talking about in your experience as far as what's going on out in space. How do you know that? Think about it. The only true knowledge is in knowing that we know nothing. The only wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. I'll admit it. I don't know much. I'll say it. But here's the thing. These globe believers, and what I'm saying by saying you know something, that means you've experienced it firsthand. You figured this out. You've got a good bead on things. Okay? I know it's going to cost me X amount of dollars to fill up my van, and I can drive it around for 10 days. I know how much money I have in my bank account. I know how long I can go without eating before my hands start shaking. I know these things because I'm me. This is my experience, okay? I know these things. When you know something, that's it. When you believe something, and that's what most of the globe model is, it's just believing. That's why I use the analogy like it's a cult. It's a cult. It's like a religion. It's like a religious cult because you have to believe. You have to have faith in this stuff. You don't know what's going on in space. You're just going by what your government approved scientism priests have told you. You don't know this stuff. You're going off of what you've been told, and you're going around preaching that it's gospel, trying to recruit and retain people in your faith. So how do you know that? They don't. They're just going by what they've been told by people that they deem to be in a more intellectual position than they are to tell them what is real. Because we've been kept so busy in this world that we don't most of the time have the time and resources to do our own research to figure things out. We're kept so busy in our day-to-day lives, so we just don't have time for it. And before I got into flat earth, I was like looking into conspiracy stuff, and I'd be talking to people about these different things. Dude, did you hear about Tower 7? Man, look what happened. So there was this billionaire, right? This dude bought freaking insurance. He like renewed his insurance, and then he added something for terrorism. This dude was at the building every daggone day, from the time he, bought the lease or whatever for Tower 2, you know what I'm saying? So, and the one day that he didn't show up was the day that the planes hit and the building came down. Like, that's not suspect. It's like he was there every single day, perfect attendance, and then the one day he doesn't show up, the daggone buildings fall. That's not a red flag. So, but you would try to talk to these people about this stuff, and then they're like, I just don't have time to look into that. That's where a lot of society is, kept so busy that they don't have time to look into all this stuff. And when people say that flat earth is the psyop, I beg to differ, and I could be wrong. I have a creeping suspicion that most of the other stuff that goes on is a distraction to keep us from looking into, or keep the general population from looking into, flat earth. Because it's, when we say the whole world is a stage, that's pretty much, I mean, it's a profound statement if you think about it. The world is a stage. And they even lied to us about that. Think about that one. If the world is a stage, and it is, like, who we see on TV, it's all actors. If you see it on CNN, you see it on ABC, like, I mean, we already know about Mockingbird media and how that all worked out, how the CIA had agents infiltrate that crap, and, they put these people in place to push this agenda and all that. It's like we already know it's BS. We know that. So we know that pretty much anybody that shows up on these things, like, if they're sitting in a studio, if they're sitting in a studio, sitting around talking with these people, chances are, if they tell some truth, they slip through the cracks. But for the most part, if all these media sources are saying the same stuff, it's a script, obviously. I think we've all seen that one video where they're all saying the same thing, like all the local news stations are saying stuff like, well, the Christmas season is coming around and it's all right. You can buy yourself a gift or 2 or 10. And it's like they repeat the same stuff. This could be dangerous to our democracy. This could be dangerous for our democracy. This could be dangerous for our democracy. It's like they're all saying the same stuff. All those, national, like news syndicates, how they're all, just kind of bought and paid for by the same few corporations. They get these scripts and they want us to think a certain way. And that's, I don't know, man. I don't know. Something's got to give. Oh, random thought. I'm being random this evening. Just wanted to connect with you because it's Friday. Flat Earth Friday out here. We're 2 days away from Flat Earth Day. I got a meetup out in Mukilteo, Washington. That's going to be a good old time. I hope everybody's got their Flat Earth gear, got your signs ready to go get active, or at least meet up with some people. If you can't get out, I hope you got your memes lined up. Gonna be blasting Flat Earth stuff all over the internet that day, however that goes. But yeah, we're gonna give them something to think about in a couple days. So Sunday, Flat Earth 422. What? But yeah, I just wanted to hop on and hang out with everybody, man. So what was, oh, hey, somebody sent me a link this morning and I watched this video. Are we all familiar with QAnon? Are we all familiar with QAnon? What's been going on with that? This individual group of people who seem to have some sort of inside scoop concerning what's going on with the whole political chessboard. As far as things that are going on, it's like some people tied in there. It might be one individual. It's like Q. Dana Walker, you know what I'm talking about with QAnon. So I got this link from a friend of mine on Facebook, sends it to me, and I don't know. I don't know if I trust it either. But Q does these drops, like these info dumps or upload stuff, to where people can pick up on it. One of those things. Where's my daggone? Okay, never mind. I can remember without the phone. Forget that. All right, so there was a upload from Q last week. It was like some files, Q crumbs. Like he leaves these breadcrumbs. Q. I think it's hilarious how the stream cut out when I started talking about Q. Anyway, so Q's put some things together. Behind you, D, your phone? What phone? No, that's not my phone. That's like, no, that's like the spare battery. That's the spare battery. That's not my other phone. My other iPhone back in the bag. Don't worry. No. So, what Q's done is it's like QAnon will put up these posts on 4chan, and it'll be like these little hints at at this and that. And what happens is like sometimes this stuff will sit here and it'll connect into what's going on. Like there was one post where he said something along the lines of watch for news in eastern Michigan, and then like a couple days later there was this supposed like rocket, not a rocket, like maybe a satellite crashed or a comet or something like that happened in Michigan, something like that. So Q has been kind of putting things together for people and forcing people to kind of do their own research. So what had happened was there were some files uploaded by Q last week. One of those files in the Q crumbs was a file titled Flat Earth, No Gravity, Bees Levitate. And in that file, it was basically, that was fake? Really? Who did that? What are you talking about? Cut that out. Anyway, so one of those files was Flat Earth, No Gravity, Bees Levitate. And what happened is like, that's gonna add more people to the community, because people are going to look at that file, because there's been a couple of folks who have made videos about that file where Q says has a file titled Flat Earth. And there's a lot of these old articles about Flat Earth, and from like 1900, where there were guys talking about like these huge arguments. There was this one guy, he asked his pops, his pops was like a miller or something like that, and they got this huge grindstone, and he's like spinning this grindstone, and the little boy pours water on it, and he's like, hey dad, but my teacher said that the earth is round and it's spinning. And so if the earth is spinning, wouldn't water fly off of it like it's doing off the millstone? So from that, this kid went off to become like a really vocal flat earther. And I mean, like to a point to where he would just, he did his research, he did his homework, and he would just go out and just like talk to anybody, and he would debate anybody about flat earth. And that was like his thing. Like his main thing was the earth is flat and stand still. That was like his mantra. So he would just go off and just snap off about that all day, every day. Very inspiring story. But that was one of those stories that was in that file titled, Flat Earth, No Gravity, Bees Levitate. So QAnon seems to be dropping breadcrumbs about flat Earth. So in my opinion, that's nothing but a good thing. I thought that was interesting. I saw that earlier this morning, and then there's a stream that I go to. There's this guy, Lionel Nation, calls himself. He does a stream every day at I want to say noon his time. It's like 9 o'clock my time. So I had hopped on there and sent some super chats just talking about flat Earth in front of like 2,400 people. I'm an activist out here. So of course, when you talk about flat Earth in these large crowds like that, people start to flip out as soon as you say it. These trolls just pop out of nowhere. Hey, red. So yeah, Lionel was doing his daily stream, and I gave a super chat, and I had told him about that QAnon file, because he does regular reports talking about QAnon and the things that's going on with that whole situation. And I told him about that file, and I told him that he needs to look into it. And then he proceeds to say, I haven't really looked into flat Earth, but there's so many proofs that the Earth is a globe Then he starts talking about, well, you see the moon and the crescent and all that, and there's been all these pictures, and there's the ISS, and the different planets and how they rotate, and of course we're orbiting. I said, so I had to send another super chat in where I said, and I was trying to be an intellectual with him just a little bit. I said, L, one does not determine the texture of a carpet in the room based on observation of the light fixtures. And he read that out loud, and he took about, I don't know, about 4 seconds to think about that, and he's like, you're right. Because that nobody does that. And that's what these Glovers do. That's the programming. It's like, I don't understand how you think that the Earth is flat, because look at the moon and they'll start pointing up here. But the other thing I forgot to tell you that I put in that super chat was, there is no curvature. There's no curvature. And I told him that. I'm like, nobody bases the texture of the carpet in a room off of observation of light fixtures and then just put there's no curvature. So he thought about that. And yeah, I thought that was necessary to put out there for those 2,000 people to see. So that's what I do out here. All right, I represent. I'll go bomb somebody else's freaking chat, and if I see they got a couple thousand people in there, I'll go scream some stuff about flat Earth. What's up, Joe Green? You saw me over there? Yeah, that's what it is. Lionel's a good dude. I've been listening to Lionel for a couple days, or not days, a couple years actually. I was rocking with Lionel when he was at like 35,000 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. That's what we do. That's what we do. And I'll encourage you to do that from time to time. If you got, $5-10 or something, if you want to put a message out there, if you can find, and this is the type of stuff that I'm saying, if you're like bound, if you're stuck at home on Flat Earth Day, go find one of these live streams where there's going to be somebody that's got like thousands of people on their live stream, if you can, and then do a super chat like $5 and then just blast it with some flat Earth information, something like that. It's just another idea, just putting that out there. Like, we see these live streams, just get it out there however we can. Call in the radio stations from time to time, try to have a conversation with them. That's the type of stuff that IPS used to coordinate just out in the open. It was cool. Yeah, I'm saying that's what I'm, but the thing is, it's like it raises awareness out there. Do it if you feel the need to. Me, I ended up dropping like $15. But I've been watching Lionel for a while, and it's okay. Ugdina, where is IPS? I think he went over to Twitch and some other streaming platforms, and he's doing what he does from there. Daniel Reza, what's up, man? So yeah, I'm not sure where IPS is, but he had some good ideas as far as activism. It was IPS was like one of the, I don't know, I think he was like the first one to put together a flat Earth billboard out here, and that kind of exploded, and there have been countless billboards talking about flat Earth. But yeah, last year was huge. This year is looking good for us. So I think it's good times. But let's continue to do what we can to get the information out there, and these other truths wherever your heart lies. But I like to stay on flat Earth because it's simple, and I'm a simple guy, and I can't always take the time to put together the quality videos and all that like I'd like to, or like I used to, because I'm always preoccupied trying to communicate with somebody or something, whatever. Anyway, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one off. And I'd like to wish you all a good evening. Have a nice weekend. I'll be going live on Sunday at the Flat Earth Meetup. I might be going live tomorrow. I actually need to check to see what the weather is going to be looking like. So here's my idea, and I'm thinking about this. and I'm thinking about this. I'm considering going on a hot air balloon ride. Like I don't know if I am even eligible to do it now. They might not even be selling tickets. If I can take a hot air balloon ride tomorrow, I'd like to take you all with me so you can see the nice flat level horizon while I'm X amount of feet in the air in a hot air balloon. Now, I don't know if I lose reception while I'm up there, but that'd be something I'd like to do. So yeah, I might do that. There's these packages out in Seattle where you can you can like get a full like a 5-course meal and a hot air balloon ride or something like that. I don't necessarily have a date though, but it's all good. But that'd be some cool stuff to be on solo. So I would like to do that and take you all with me at some point. I've been procrastinating on that. I've actually priced tickets to go to Alaska during summer solstice, because what I want to do is go to Alaska, and because we like last year, you remember we had this huge, this sort of contention in the community concerning whether or not it's the AE model where there's the sun going around in a circle, and then there's the rectangular type where the sun goes just right across and then kind of teleports to the other side and then just, does that thing. There was, a lot of argument about that. I want to put this whole thing to bed. What I want to do is fly to Alaska this summer, and that's like in the next 2 months. I want to fly to Alaska and kind of take my camera, and I want to do a quick video of the terrain around there and just, okay, this is the 360, you all. This is what's going on. This is the mountains over here. These are the trees, blah, 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 whoop-de-woo. Okay, that's a 360. That's what that looks like. And then what I want to do is at least a 24, maybe 36-hour time lapse. I figured out how to do that on my phone. Well, not phone, with my P900. I can do time lapse now, y'all. So what I want to do is a time lapse with my camera following the sun wherever it goes. Now, if I can follow the sun in that circle and show you the same terrain, then I can prove to you all that the sun is actually going around in a giant circle above our heads. I can prove that if I go to Alaska. So I do want to do that. That is something I want to do. And I priced tickets to go to Alaska, and yeah, they're kind of cheap. I mean, it's about the same amount to fly to Colorado to fly to Alaska during that time. And besides, I hear that Alaska has like a summer solstice kind of festival every year, and flat earthers go to that. I didn't even hear about that. So I'm thinking about flying out there so I could do that. I need to buy some more batteries for my camera and all that. Might need to take somebody with me to so we can like sleep in shifts or something like that. I'd have to be up like a whole 24 hours. I'd have to hit the timer on the camera and then jump back in the car and take a nap or something like that. But I want to do something like that. I might need to take somebody with me though. But yeah, those are my plans. So 4/22, Flat Earth Day, maybe a balloon ride tomorrow, maybe. Summer solstice in Alaska, so I can track the sun to see what it's doing. So I'll be able to tell you whether it just went in a straight line across the sky or whether it's going in a circle. I'd like to share that with you all, because y'all's my people. So that's all I got. That's what's on my calendar. In a perfect world scenario. So other than that, things are cool. Just chilling. See my man Ron Hagberg's in the house. Ron put up a fantastic video the other day. Shoot. Let me see. What the heck? Ron, remind me what that video is about, please. I'm having a moment. Ron, what was that video about? It was fantastic, and I was thinking about mirroring that one, because it's like Ron Hagberg puts out, the Fata Morgana. It's that whole situation where we all have to deal with when people say, okay, so no, I saw the boat go over the curvature. It's like Ron, he went in depth about that and broke it down to how the atmosphere causes this distortion where it just looks like, as far as like a day where it's nice and clear, You know, it's like he took his camera down, zoomed across the water, and there was no distortion. There was no distortion. You could see the shore on the other side, and then you know, like on a totally different day, he shows like side by side where there's another day where it was like a little more humid or whatever, and that messed with the atmospheric conditions, as it were. And it caused it to look like the water had a bulge. But yeah, Ron kills it. So if you're not subscribed to Ron Hagberg, get over there like now. And check out some of his stuff. Ron does his thing. He puts in some good work, puts up some really good content. So check him out. He has a great video about Fata Morgana, as it were. So, man, this is a long stream. 46 minutes? Good Lord. It's like the longest one ever. Okay, so, no problem, Ron. Do your thing. You're the man, Ron. Also, I had to use one of Ron's clips from the eclipse earlier in January 31st. Ron had a video where he showed how the moon was going off into the distance, and it had that flipping the shadow was like coming from the wrong side. It's like the Selenelian eclipse, you know what I'm saying, that style. Yeah, that it's been deemed to be impossible according to the globe model, and that's what that was, January 31st. And like, these globies don't even want to talk about that. No, lunar eclipse is caused when the Earth is between the moon and the sun. That's what causes that crescent shape. Duh. Okay, what about when the flipping shadow is coming from up top? Then what? How do you explain that? You just don't understand. Because refraction, they love using that refraction, man. Jesus. Anyway, so yeah. Let me see. Ron Pettit. Oh, you talking about the one Red Flag Media put up? The one about Don Pettit. That guy's a knucklehead. Yeah, Don Pettit, man, you know, I'd go back to the moon in a nanosecond, but we destroyed the technology. Like, it's a painful process to build it back. Like, you're freaking NASA. What are we paying you for? Build it back. You can't build back that little tinfoil shower curtain bull crap from like 1960s. Y'all, and then, oh, here, let me see. But we destroyed it. Think about the impact of that statement. We would go back to the moon, but we destroyed the technology to do so. They supposedly had 6 moon missions. 6 moon missions. When we're thinking about maybe 1. No, there were 6 that they had to fake. And then there was telemetry data, supposedly, from these moon missions, and all of that's gone. From 6 moon missions. They destroyed the technology to go back to the moon. They apparently did this 6 times, and they destroyed all of it. And then there was supposed to be telemetry data from 6 moon missions, and none of it is anywhere to be found. Who does that? Now, can't get too deep into this, but there's regulations in the military, like when you issue something from the supply room, you have to keep what's called a hand receipt. So it's like you take something out of the supply room, you issue it to somebody, but before you issue it to them, you have to have them sign a hand receipt saying, okay, you're taking out a compass. I'm going to issue this compass. I'm going to put the stock number on here, the nomenclature, the quantity. Okay, you have to print, sign, and put your name on this column. Print, sign, it. So they got to sign a hand receipt, and then they get the compass. You got to hold on to this hand receipt according to regulation for like 5 years. They have to come back and keep signing that thing, but you have to keep that document for years on hand. And then you can't destroy it for like 10, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So this is for a compass. We're talking about a compass. There's a regulation to say you got to hold on to this piece of paper saying that you signed for a freaking compass for years and years, but there's telemetry data missing from 6 moon missions. And they destroyed it? That's craziness, if you think about it. So yeah, that's all I got. Sorry about that last rant. I was pretty amped up about that one. Like, come on, man, seriously. PJ, what's happening? So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. go do my shopping for the weekend. But yeah.